Greetings. Welcome to the PrintWeek DIC India knowledge session about the metal packaging industry in India. Today's ode to metal packaging will take a fresh look at its impact on the planet. I say planet because we have experts joining us from Spain and Lithuania and, of course, Mumbai and Delhi. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sriram Selvam, and I would be your host for the next 60 minutes. The objective of the partnership between DIC and PrintWeek is to initiate inter-industry dialogue. We realize there is significant demand for close and long-term technology support among manufacturers, converters, and brands in order to utilize India's production capacities. Three things before we listen to the three experts, Lopez, Debasish Mandal, and Gonzalo Malo. The three things are, number one, just to crunch some numbers. India introduced aerosols in 1966. It took a couple of decades for India to gain ascendancy in aerosol manufacturing. In 1972, the annual consumption of aerosols were approximately 10 million cans. Today, aerosol can have notched 800 million cans, and these numbers are growing. Number two, in financial terms, the harvest and post-harvest losses of major agricultural and allied products amount to rupees 92,651 crore yearly. This loss can be reduced with metal packaging, as it can preserve the flavor of food, prevent decay, and also help transportation. Number three, metal packaging also has one of the highest recycling rate, 74.5% for aluminum cans and 82.5% for steel packaging. With that, let's move to our first presentation and understand what DIC Corporation Sun Chemical is doing in order to optimize the clout of metal packaging from both the technical and application-related perspectives. I welcome Lopez, the Asia Business Leader, Metal Packaging Inc. Sector, DIC Corporation Sun Chemical. Lopez joins us from Spain, and he will be focusing on growth and performance of the Metal Packaging Inc. sector in India. Over to you, Lander.
Okay, thank you very much. I will share my screen. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this.
Sorry, Lander. Can you please go to display settings and put it in proper presentation mode for everyone?
Sorry.
Yeah. Display settings. Yeah. Yeah. Duplicate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this first part of this webinar hosted by DIC India and PrintWeek. Before starting with the main topics about trends, innovation, and sustainability, please let me introduce briefly my company, Sun Chemical and DIC. Sun Chemical, as part of the DIC group, is a global leader in printing inks and organic pigments, which is thanks to our more than 20,000 employees that are spread in more than 60 countries around the world. But the success of our business cannot happen without our extensive net of manufacturing locations to support any part of the world. However, I cannot forget to mention our partners from different sectors that collaborate with us to bring and to add value to the metal deco industry. Now let's start with the first main topic of this webinar, trends. It was the year 2023, and the world was experiencing different type of crises with a huge influence on the different markets. Prices like inventories were following the overstocking during the pandemic, and many customers reduced new orders to consume existing inventories, which directly affected the demand for the metal packaging. Or another crisis was the raw material shortages that all the suppliers were struggling to have a proper supply. But also we had the inflation and the recession that the world was trying to survive. Putting all together made us a very gray and unpredictable view of the world. But fortunately, in 2024 was different, and we started to recover the normal. We closed the year 2024 with a growth of almost 6.5% in compare with 2023, giving us evidences that the metal packaging was more alive than ever. And this is supported by recent market analysis that show us a component annual growth rate of 3.1% until 2033. Let's talk more about trends. What is behind of the customer behavior? There are 6 key factors, which are cultural shift, basically differences between old and young population, technological barriers, the use of apps are more and more popular, convenience and urban lifestyles, busy lifestyles are increasing demand for portable, durable, and easy-to-use packaging. For sure, economic stress. The life is increasingly more expensive, and this has an important role on consumer behavior. Also, we have the green thinking. In some regions, consumers are looking for a sustainable packaging and also with the purpose to reduce the plastic consumption. And for sure, the last one, but not the less important, the life quality. Especially after the pandemic, the health is the priority for everyone. This has been a general view in the world. Now let's see the trends in Asia Pacific. We can classify in 2 different groups the behavior of the buyers. The first one will be the buying habits, and the second one, packaging expectations. Let's start with the buyer habits. Here we can find firstly the convenience. Just an example in India, where the 80% of the population consider essential the shopping formats like BOPIS, which is buy online and pick up in the store, or curbside pickups, which is basically an evolution of the BOPIS. Basically, the customer buy online, then the customer go to the store, park outside of the store, notify the store that about the arrival, and one employee from the store is delivering directly out of the store the product that the customer bought, or also 1 or 2 hours delivery slots. Another subgroup is social buyers, where the use of social apps are increasingly more popular. This is the example of Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, or previously also China. The use of apps like WeChat, TikTok, or Grab are more and more popular. And the last subgroup of this key driver is the eco-thinking, where some countries like Indonesia, Thailand, or Singapore consider the sustainability quite important. But I have to say that there are still some gaps regarding the available information on this topic. Let's move to the other key driver, packaging expectations. Starting with tailoring, where countries like India or Australia consider interesting the customization of the product. However, other countries like China find quite important the cultural connection. This is an example. If this type of packagings include colors, which means good fortune, probably consumers will choose this type of packaging. And finally, the reusable and returnable packagings, which is growing in Asia Pacific, but I have to say that it's still very far from other regions of the world like Europe. Before continuing with more trends, let me show you a bit of history. In 1888, Mailander presented the first printing press. You can see how it looked, the machine, basically probably a copy-paste of the paper industry. Some years later, in 1932, LTG introduced the first drying oven for metal sheets. Beierdorf was one of the first companies to introduce this type of ovens. In 1978, we had the launch of Crabtree Marquez. It was the standard of the market. But in 1995, when nobody expected probably something revolutionary, we received the news from KB of the Metal Star 1. This was a total revolutionary change in the industry. And talking with some colleagues, when they saw at that moment this first machine from KB, they considered this like a train because of the aspect. And finally, the most recent machine in the market, or I will say between commas, the most modern machine is the Metal Star 4. Basically, the printing concept is the same, but with the latest technologies added. With this slide, what I want to show you is that the innovation or the changes in our industry along all these years are very, very slow. But what is printing currently, the can makers? I remember from some visits I made in Asia, one of the questions I received from our customers is, what is the printing technology leader? Depending on the region, which technology the customers are using. So here you can see a footprint of the printing technology usage in the world. As you can see, the UV is the leader currently, followed by the conventional, and very far in the last position, the LED, which is the upcoming new, also between commas, technology in our customers. Let's move to the next block, innovation. What can makers are doing or developing? Here we have some examples about what can makers are doing or launching as innovation. In this case, we have from Sonoco, okay, the Orbit Closer. I have to remark that this was launched by Crown, but as you know, Crown is now part of Sonoco, or the EcoPeel in 2015. Another innovation was the open back closure with high vacuum technology from Auxiliar Conservera in 2017, or the aluminum cap launched by Ball Packaging in 2019 using recyclable aluminum. With this, what I want to show you is we are still keeping more or less the same type of packagings than 50 years ago, but we are introducing, can makers are introducing a small innovation that are making easier the customer experience. However, as I mentioned before with the story of the printing machines, the innovation and the revolutionary things in our industry are quite slow. What happened with the manufacturers of printing machines? It is increasingly more popular to talk about digital. For 2Ps, and 3-piece. The case of the 2-piece, the quality is very good. However, probably, as you know, the speed is very low, around 300 cans per minute. On the other side, we have the 3-piece, where it is a fact that the speed is lower than offset machines, but this is compensated with the save of time in label changing or the elimination of blankets and plates. However, some kind makers still consider that the quality is not as good as the offset machines, especially for the small negative texts. And from the ink supplier point of view, what Sun Chemical is doing here, we are collaborating together with Pantone as preferred partner and X-Ray in the development of the first Pantone library for aluminum substrate. This is the project Pantone Live. In other words, we are digitalizing the Pantone colors in order to ensure the same color on different substrates. We are talking about digitalization, but for sure, customers demand also like a kind of Pantone book. So this is the Sun DigiProof. Basically, this is the Pantone book for those Pantone colors for aluminum substrate. And finally, the last topic about sustainability. Some brand owners like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, P&G, or Nestle have common goals in terms of sustainability. One of them is to make 100% of the packaging reusable or recyclable between 2025 and 2030. There are other kind of goals, like reduce the virgin plastic used to manufacture also this type of packagings. But here is the debate. Are we really thinking in our environment, or is this only a marketing tool? I will leave this question just for your thoughts. What is doing DIC regarding sustainability? We have two clear goals. The first one is to increase the sustainable products in our portfolio. We want to reach the 60% of our net sales by 2030. And the second goal is to reduce the annual carbon dioxide emissions by 50% in 2030. But the real target that we have behind this second goal is to reach by 2050 the net zero emissions. And how Sun Chemical is contributing to achieve these goals. Here on this slide, you have the list of ink series that we have on range for the 3-piece technology, where we try to increase the bio content in our formulations. You can see the status in 2019 and 2025 that we increase the bio content in most of our ink series. Basically, the goal is to reduce our carbon footprint, to be less dependent from petrol sources, and to increase the renewable carbon content. So this is the end of my presentation. I leave here my contact details in case you need to discuss further discussion or more information about any of these topics I presented or any doubt you can have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lander. I'm sure the audience is going to reach out to you and have a lot more questions. I already see a few questions coming up to us. We picked that up at the Q&A in the end. Now, I'd like to welcome Debasish Mandal, who is the Regional Head, Packaging Sustainability and Long-Term Innovation, Emerging Markets R&D at Beierdorf, and he will be sharing the brand's perspective. Two things you must know about Debashish. One, he oversees packaging sustainability strategy in emerging markets at Beierdorf with a strong emphasis on integrating recycled materials and enhancing recyclability. Also, Debashish is instrumental in implementing the Eco Beauty Score for Nivea and Eucerin Face Care in India, empowering consumers to make informed, sustainable choices. Welcome, Debashish, and over to you.
Thanks, Freedom. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me here, Print Week, and it is a great pleasure to share the forum with Sun Chemical DIC. And a great platform has already been created by Lander. Just let me know whether you can see my screen. I've just started sharing my screen.
Yes.
Great. So as mentioned by Sriram, it's my introduction, but all of you know probably what Beierdorf is. If not, I'm going to give you a brief idea about the organization. And from this regional R&D center in Mumbai, we are responsible for formula and packaging development and also consumer studies for multiple countries, starting from Northern Africa to New Zealand, except China. So Greater Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, Middle East, and India. Before, as I mentioned, I want to give you a brief about Beierdorf as a company. We know since last 140 years or more, we are staying close to the consumers and we're affecting consumers' behavior in their life. Nearly 1 million of consumers daily uses our products, and they start their journey from the day till the end of the day with our products. And we accompany them throughout their life from the infancy to maturity, from morning to the evening. And we stay close to the consumers' behavior, consumers' life, and we develop a meaningful consumer goods products which are tailored to their needs. With our core brands like Nivea, Eucerin, La Prairie, Hansaplast, we are also locally popular with our brands like Aquaphor, Coppertone Nives, Chanticleer, Labello, 8x4, Asterix, Hidrofuel, and Master. These are the local brands available worldwide, along with the key brands, as I mentioned, Nivea, Eucerin, La Prairie. Tisa is our industrial tape brand, which you might aware of it. This is one of my life's favorite statement from none other than Steve Jobs and all of us, the packaging technologists, to ensure that we're going to deliver this throughout our professional career. So just to give you an idea about the product packaging assortment, especially packaging assortment within our organization, we are heavy with respect to rigid packaging and a little bit of flexible packaging as well. In rigid packaging, we have plastics packaging, at the same time, almost same quantum of metal packaging. We are also having glass roll-ons and other glass format of packaging. And I'm not going to talk about plastics packaging here because of the forum. Just want to give you an idea about what are the kind of metal packaging we have in our portfolio, global portfolio. Two key categories or two key types. One, we call it Nivea tin. It was historically called Nivea tin, and we're also calling it internally as Nivea tin. There's the iconic Nivea cream jar. And it is not a tin as a material, it is aluminum. We also use the aluminum as a cap enclosures for a few other formats in plastics and glass. We have monoblock impact extruded aluminum aerosol containers or cans, and that's there in almost all of our aerosol products like Nivea Men, Nivea deodorant, Aquaphor, Coppertone, Body Mousse, etc. Question to you, though I cannot get the answers now, it's not a live Menti, but just wanted to give an idea about how many Nivea tints were sold. Nivea tints means this is Nivea cream tint in 2024. Any guesses? It is in million. Probably you're responding, but I'm not able to see your chats. To give you the idea, it's 134 million number of tints sold in 2024. We're doing good in 2025. It's going to cross the number in this year. Now coming to the topic, we always discuss, we're always confused, we always debate on what is the best materials for packaging. It's plastic or metal. And I am sure there is no single winner of it. Both of these metals have their own unique advantages, the pros and cons. What's the advantages of metal as a packaging? All of us know, especially the aluminum, tin, and steel, these are the materials used for the packaging of various components. And the first and foremost point of advantage of metal packaging is durability. It's super strong. It is stronger than any other format of packaging probably available in daily usage. And it is the best barrier for a product. It gives the protection against in durability, it gives the protection against transit hazard, and in barrier property, it gives protection against the light, the oxygen, the moisture, starting from the thin film used in the flexible laminate to the foil to cover the jar to the metal packaging itself. It is one of the best barrier giving materials. Last but not the least is recyclability. As Sriram mentioned in the beginning, metal packaging is highly recyclable. It's also collected because it has its own value. And probably it can be recycled n number of times without losing its properties. So you can melt the metal, you can give it reshape, and then produce another metal packaging without losing the content or losing the properties of the packaging. That's the beauty of the metal packaging, and it's few, if not all. Now coming to the trends, like what's happening nowadays in packaging overall, or especially in the metal packaging. Just wanted to give you an idea. We as a company, our regional R&D center and global R&D center in Hamburg also do consumer understanding studies. We are closely associated with consumers, and we do develop our product and packaging after having the consumer understanding. Once we develop the product and packaging, we go back to the consumers and also get it checked. We have a process to do that. However, we are seeing a trend within the consumers, especially this is, you can make out is a Gen Z. And these are the people who are buying our products now, who will buy our products tomorrow. And they are not typical consumers of yesterday. They are more confident, they have more money than before to try to purchase products, and they're also conscious. One property which is super important as a consumer's point of view, and also brands are looking at these properties, is a digital connect. So everything is now in our hand today. It's in the laptop, it's in the tab, it's in the mobile, through any digital means. We are in Instagram, we are in Facebook, not much more, but Instagram, Twitter, and all those websites we follow. And the brands are connecting to consumers digitally by the printing on the packaging. What else can be done, right? So there is a QR code, you scan it, and then you get a lot of information which you cannot provide in a small space of the can. However, to scan the QR code, you have to have the packaging surface as a printing area. And there you can experiment, you can onboard them, you can try, you can gamify a lot of possibilities through this digital connect. Second features, which is in trend, which was there before and which is going to be there tomorrow, I'd like to mention is personalization, right? So by using a right kind of printing machine and the processes, you can do wonders. A small lot, you can try anything, you can convey your message, you can also onboard the consumers by personalization. I would also like to mention one more property, which the brands are following nowadays, it's a simplicity. And this is one of our brands, 8x4, I showed before. And there, how we are connecting the fragrance to the color. So if you can see this in the screen, there are 4 different variants: vibrant flower, juicy splash, fresh lime, and wild oak. These are the fragrances, and these are the fragrances for the younger generations, and they're connecting each and every fragrances with the color. Yeah, so that is also another way of another point of contact with the consumers as a future trend. Last but not the least, I mentioned before, sustainability is a key trend which today's consumers, today's generations are also giving importance to. We as a brand, as an organization, are also serious about it. We have our pledges, which I like to mention slowly in following slides. We call ourselves as a brand who care beyond skin. Beyond of developing meaningful skincare products, we care for our environment, we care for our consumers, we care for our employees. So first and foremost is a diversity. We as an organization are increasing our diversity with respect to gender diversity, technological knowledge diversity, geographical diversity, and whatnot. And we're also showcasing that through our product packaging. Sustainability, as I mentioned before, it's almost one of our key, and we have a net zero commitment of 2045. By 2045, we'll reduce our absolute carbon emission by 90%, and we are measuring that. And we're also measuring that through SBTi. These all targets are science-based target initiative approved, and we're also CDP compliant organization. And we have our commitment for sustainability, which is measurable through multiple facets. But here for this time, I would like to mention only about sustainability in aluminum. As I mentioned before, aluminum as a metal is infinitely recyclable. And you might be aware that aluminum comes from the primary raw material as bauxite, it's mining. And then through electrolysis, we form primary aluminum, and then we give it a shape, and then it goes back recycled. In the whole process, majority of the energy is being consumed till electrolysis. And if we can avoid that by proper recycling, collecting and recycling of the aluminum containers or aluminum as a metal in whatever format, we're going to eliminate almost 90% of the energy consumption in the whole process. So that's our target. And in our organization, we're targeting to add more and more low carbon aluminum and recycled aluminum. So here you can see our Nivea tins, the containers are made in 1 or 2 locations and within Beierdorf only. And we have almost added 85% of the recycled aluminum in the tins without losing any of the characteristics of the packaging and also the product. The second example, the aerosol cans, the deodorant cans, we are consciously increasing the content of low carbon and recycled aluminum, not only in Europe, but globally. So we have a strong team in every locations who is trying to find out the right kind of partners to fulfill this global commitment within our organization. That's a small presentation from my side. And for anything else, I can be reached out through LinkedIn or this is my email. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Debashish. Very impressive. And I think that there's a lot of ideas that have also come out in terms of what you presented for the audience. 2 things stand out, though. The Beierdorf journey with metal sustainability, especially deodorant cans, which are made of low carbon. A substantial portion of Beierdorf metal packaging is already designed for recycling. And you say the group is aiming for 100% by the end of 2032. Kudos and congratulations to you and your team. Before we move on to Gonzalo Malo, a quick question for you, Debashish. I did not know that the iconic Nivea tins are made of 85% recycled aluminum. When and how did this journey begin? And what were some of the challenges you had with your packaging partner in terms of integrating the ink solutions with a metal packaging application? Could you give us some insights?
Great. Actually, this has started almost like 4 years back.
Okay.
And in Europe, as I said, that all of our Niveactins are made in Germany exclusively by us. So no one else make it. We have a complete setup of manufacturing. So it's also an advantage to source the materials, to communicate, to have the technological developments. And then we are closely associated with the aluminum organization as a supplier and also the recycled aluminum companies. So there is an organization owned by Indian brand who is specially present in Germany called Novelis, and they are our partner, the Aditya Birla Group. And it's also known. So we are associated with them and we closely work with them for the source of the recycled aluminum. With respect to printing, yeah, it was not a challenge always for the application of the lacquers or the primer for the printing inks. However, we did a lot of trials and we did not launch at the first go. There's a lot of approval process goes through in this development, and it went through and we're successful today. And yeah.
That's great. That's great. One more question, this time from Kinnari Gala of All About Packaging. She wants to know, are there design limitations or best practices when it comes to gradients, illustrations, or fine typography on a two-piece format?
See, for any machines, we have number of stations fixed. And where we want to do the primer, where to apply the lacquers afterwards. But what machines we use from the organizations, I think the suppliers, it's a multiple stations machines. And we could control our number of colors within the artwork we want to replicate. And nowadays, going forward, we're also trying to make it more simple as a can's artwork. But to give you an answer, Miss, we didn't face any issue. We're not facing any issue. And all our artworks we could reproduce within these machineries setups.
All right. Thank you so much, Debasish Mandal. I know you need to get on the expressway to Pune in a bit, but we hope you can stay with us till the end of the knowledge session.
Yeah, sure, I will. Thanks, Riyam.
Welcome. Now I'd like to welcome Gonzalo Malo. Gonzalo is a seasoned chemistry professional currently directing technical assistance at Sun Chemical, a leading company in printing inks and coatings under DIC Corporation. His expertise centers on metallic and decorative inks, particularly those used in industrial and packaging applications for metal surfaces. Over to you, Gonzalo.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Let me start my presentation.
Sure. Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. And thank you, PrintWeek, for organizing this webinar. My name is Gonzalo Malo de Molina. I'm the Global Manager of Technical Customer Service at Sun Chemical Metal Packaging Division. I hold a degree in Chemical Sciences and have been part of the DIC Sun Chemical Group for over 20 years, and all of them dedicated to the technical department of the metal packaging. Today, I'm excited to share some insights about the Customer Technical Service department that I am leading. Let me walk through some of the key technical activities we focus on at DIC Sun Chemical. First, in R&D, we are constantly developing cutting-edge technologies that not only meet the current market demands, but also anticipate future needs. Innovation is at the heart of what we do. In customer support and consulting, we provide expert advice specifically tailored to the metal packaging sector. Our labs are available as technical resources to help solve challenges and validate solutions. When it comes to product recommendation and customization, we work closely with our customers to select the most suitable products for their specific applications. We also adapt existing technologies to meet unique requirements and provide detailed documentation to support the implementation. Color management is another key area. We guide customers through advanced color systems and support smooth transitions from other suppliers to sun chemical and DIC products. Through continuous benchmarking, we regularly compare our technologies with market alternatives to ensure we remain competitive and deliver the best value. We also take claims and complaint management very seriously. Our goal is to resolve issues efficiently while using feedback to drive continuous improvement. And finally, our global technical support networks allows us to assist sun chemical and DIC teams worldwide, ensuring consistent, high-quality service for local customers everywhere. All these activities reflect our commitment to excellence and partnership with our customers. Now let me introduce the team behind all this work. This is our Metal Packaging Center of Excellence, a dedicated group of 20 chemists who focus exclusively on metal packaging technologies. Among them, we have 4 PhDs in different chemistry disciplines, bringing deep expertise to everything we do. This photo was taken just before the Christmas holidays last year, so you will notice a few festive touches and a lot of smiles. It's a great reflection of the team spirit and passion we bring to our work every day. Here you can see a few snapshots of our lab facilities. We're equipped with state-of-the-art tools for informulation, testing, and performance evaluation. We also have pilot-scale production capabilities, which allow us to prepare smalling batches for customer trials and homologation process. Our analytical labs support R&D, quality control, defect analysis, raw material validation, ensuring reliability at every step. We use advanced color matching and measurement systems to guarantee precision and consistency across all the applications. And finally, we simulate industrial processes, including printing, coating, curing, and both mechanical and chemical testing, so we can replicate real-world conditions and deliver proven solutions. In the next few slides, I would like to show you some of the key equipment we use in our lab. These tools are essential for our daily work, from formulation and testing to analysis and simulation. I will briefly walk you through each one so you can get a better sense of our technical capabilities. We have the most modern spectrophotometers and color management softwares. Sun Chemical has a specific team for color management, and we collaborate with them. And this allows us to be part of projects with Pantone, X-Rite, as my colleague Lander has explained before. We have full equipment for analytical work, infrared, high-performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography. We develop our own resins for conventional curing inks. This allows us to make tailored resins to produce tailored inks to fit all the customers' requirements. We do have all the needed equipment to check some mechanical properties such as scratch, mobility, wedge bend, impact testers, blocking, set-off, lithographic performance. We can print, we can varnish, we can do drawn cans, we can produce crowns and ends to check all the mechanical properties. We can mill inks, we can do sterilization, we can do light fastness testing. Of course, we can check viscosity, tag, misting, and we have all the needed equipment for curing conventional UV or LED inks. Next, I would like to share a few examples of the kind of reporting and analysis we generate as part of our technical support activities. On one hand, we conduct regular benchmarking studies to compare our technologies with others in the market, helping us to stay competitive and continuously improve. We also carry out detailed complaint analysis, which allow us to identify root causes, implement corrective actions, and share learnings across teams and regions. This slide shows some of the technical documentation we have developed for different types of metal packaging. These documents summarize the key properties and performance requirements for different packaging, helping our customers better understanding the specific needs of their applications and select the most appropriate solutions. Color management is a critical part of our work, especially in metal packaging where precision and consistency are essential. In this slide, you can see some of the key tools we use for color control, color matching, as well as an overview of our workflow and best practices. In this industry, it's not only to reach to the perfect color when you are color matching. It is important that the color can withstand all the next processes that are, as you know, critical. To support smooth transitions from other suppliers to some chemical, we have developed some tools like this one that is a formula conversion calculator. We do analysis of the competitors' inks, we compare versus our own inks, and then we are able to create conversion calculator that can help changing the existing colors from one supplier to our own ink series, making the transition process faster, accurate, and less disruptive for all our customers. And this is just a few slides of the capabilities of the customer technical service.
Thank you so much, Gonzalo. I think more than 200 delegates have attended today's knowledge session. So a round of applause to all of us. Before I turn my attention to the next speaker, Karthikeyan Sambandam, who's the DGM Metal Deco at DIC India. A quick question to you, Gonzalo, about how color plays a major role in marketing and branding. The question is, how do Sun Chemical inks helps global brands to create unique colors and maintain its consistency across various production sites?
Sun Chemical, it's the, let's say, it's the main manufacturer of pigments in the market. We we have, let's say, all the information about the existing technologies to produce inks. We have the contact of most of the stakeholders, so we help them to develop their own colors, and as part of our color management, we help them maintaining the colors across the different printing places all around the world. With projects like the one explained by my colleague Lander before of Pantone Life, we help the market to have its standards that are, let's say, developed for our own industry. We are now working in a new project with Pantone to develop a new Pantone Life library for 3-piece. And this will help the industry to be able to be more accurate in the color reproduction, avoiding the use of Pantone books printed on paper, which is not, let's say, the substrates we are working with.
That's interesting. I guess we are picking up a lot of trends in this session so far, especially how there is a growing demand and printing isn't just decoration. It's what transforms a can into a branded shelf-ready solution, I guess. To truly serve the brands, the industry has to master the entire process from forming the can to printing it with precision. On that note, we turn our attention to Karthikeyan Samandam, who will share with us about the strong technical support and global expertise in the group, plus DIC's vibrant and sustainable ink solutions are engineered to deliver exceptional print quality, performance, and compliance. Karthikeyan is a chemical engineer with a professional experience of over 20 years, of which 10 years has been invested in metal packaging. Currently, he helms the metal packaging division at DIC India as DGM Metal Packaging. He holds technical knowledge across various printing technologies, inks, and coatings. Welcome, Karthik, and over to you.
Thank you, Shriram, and thanks for the brief introduction. I'll just share my screen. Hope it is in presentation mode.
Yes, now it is.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Myself, Karthikeyan Samandam. You had a good introduction, brief introduction by Shriram. So I'll quickly move on to my presentation slide. I will take you through the DIC India history in India. So DIC India have a presence in more than 75 years in India. So this has been started in 1947 by Coates Brothers, basically the UK company which started in India. And yearly 2000, we joined DIC Corporation. So Coates of India has been taken over by DIC India. So that's what we had a very vast presence in India for many years. In terms of footprints, our corporate office and state-of-the-art research and development center is at Noida. So where we do all the developments and all our key management executives sits in our corporate office in Noida sector 126. Apart from R&D centers, we have 3 plants. One is in Ahmedabad, and we also have 1 plant in Noida, 1 plant in Bangalore, and our last plant, which is in Saika, Gujarat state. And this is a new plant which has got into operational last year. It is a green certified building. So DIC India, as presented by my other speakers, my colleagues from Sun Chemical. So we also part of the DIC Corporation, and we committed to provide sustainable solutions to the market, Indian market especially. And we have, as part of that, we committed net zero in 2050. For the circular economy, so we started looking into our manufacturing facility first. This SICA new manufacturing site, which is a platinum rated unit certified by the CIE India Green Building Council. So we are proud to say like this is absolutely the green building. So where all the energies we use is a renewable one. So with this, not only we are supporting to our own goal of DIC corporation, we also supports to the brand owners. So who has to meet their scope 1 and scope 2 emission compliant goals to meet their sustainability numbers. So DIC India, we support, we do this sustainable products for all the segments wherever printing inks goes into. I will start with the flexible packaging. We do produce water-based inks, toluene and ketone-free as well as PVC-free inks in India. The other product is Chic Wash. This is quite interesting product. This is actually a chemicals or a solution which can remove your ink before the packages goes for the recyclability. And now latestly, like we are focusing much on UV and LED inks for all the divisions where we have for the Flexo division as well. For the rigid packaging, so our solution offerings, sustainable offerings is that MO-free inks, aqueous coatings, and also the LED inks for this division. When it comes to the newspaper printing, so which is your day-to-day stuff where in the morning, like you used to see the newspapers, we are proud to say that most of the news paper printing industries in India uses largely DIC inks. Recently, like we introduced a low pH printing inks. pH is a chemical which is of high toxicity potential. So we are the one who are the first to introduce this low pH inks in the market. The next one, barrier coatings. This is the one which you can use it for the food packaging. For example, like your paper cups. So we offer this barrier coatings, which can be coated to prevent contamination between the food and the packaging product. Last but not least, DIC India is adding up the portfolio of metal deco inks. We started manufacturing UV inks in our Gujarat plant under the brand name Medcure. And LED inks and OPVs is in the development stage. Basically, this is like we need to look into the less energy consumption. This is the one which we are seeing it in the metal packaging, tin industries or the aluminum industries. They want to reduce that energy consumption, which is a predominantly cost of the manufacturing cost of any cans. So in this way, like we are proud to say like DIC India is your partner for the sustainable printing and packaging solutions. So that's a short from my side. You can reach out to me with our sales website. We are present in LinkedIn, and our marketing manager will be in touch with you for any queries or Q&A, which will be addressed by us. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. I'm not going to let you go without a question. This is about advanced manufacturing facility in Saikia, Gujarat, right? So you say it has over 10K metric tons of annual capacity. What is DIC India's plan to produce metal deco inks in India?
Okay, so the plant in Saikia, I would say like we had more than 50% expansion scope available at that facility. So as metal packaging is the one which contributes more to the renewable process or the sustainability goal. So we want to produce metal deco inks at that plant. And that's the reason we are focusing on UV inks first.
Okay. And one more question. You know, there are like 200 delegates and I'm sure many of them have this in their mind. Are these inks that we were talking about, the UV inks or normal convention inks? I think you already answered this, but maybe you can expand a bit on the UV inks part.
So yeah, it's an interesting one to the audience. India, like it's a predominantly like traditionally belongs to the conventional inks. Right? Off late, like people started shifting to UV inks, but the pandemic COVID, which has derailed that full conversion, which has happened for UV inks. But today, I can rate that 40% of the industry has moved towards UV inks, and 60% is still in conventional inks. But as a DIC India, so we want to differentiate ourselves in the market. So we started promoting LED inks in the market, which is much better than UV as well as conventional inks. So LED is going to be the future of Indian market.
That's a very interesting point. Maybe we should do another webinar on that particular topic, Karthik. Should we also set a date for it already? With that, I guess we conclude with the presentation. One trend that I picked up from our experts, although a metal can look simple, it actually goes through 9 precise manufacturing processes before it's ready for sale. Each step is critical to ensure quality, durability, and safety, making it a marvel of engineering behind its unassuming appearance, science. And the shift towards value-added, recyclable, and compliant packaging is accelerating across both 2-piece and 3-piece can formats. I must say, this is one of those webinars where the Q&A section of Zoom is flooded with a lot of questions, and also the comment section. The editorial team at PrintWeek, Sai Deepthi and Anhata Ruprai, have been vetting the questions. Let me quickly take a few questions now. I know we've already run out of time. There's a specific one for Lander there. This is from Venu Iyer of MCMA. Lander, what is your take about the Indian metal packaging business, and what are the new ink developments for 3-piece cans? Lander, if you can hear me, are you?
Yes, sorry, say again, please.
What is your take about the Indian metal packaging business, and what are the new ink developments for 3-piece cans?
Okay, so regarding the India market, as my colleague Karthik explained, well, there is a huge potential in terms of the 3-piece metal packaging business. In terms of, most of the regions in the world also are looking for the Indian market in order to produce this type of packaging. And in terms of inks, as Karthik also mentioned, the LED is more and more popular. This is, let's say, I will say recent, but between commas, because the LED is established for some years ago, but most of the customers are asking for this type of technology currently. The main reason is because of the savings in terms of energy, and also because you have more space to install the printing line. Okay. Also, if you also install the LED or UV varnish as well. Okay, so you remove the gas oven. So I would say that this is the current technology or the latest development more popular in this industry, and also for India. But if you remember from my slide about the footprint regarding the type of technologies, LED is still at the last place, because still customers have some doubts, okay, to make that step, okay. But I will say that this is the future, the LED.
Thank you, Lander. But I know there's a question for Debasish, but he just texted me saying that he has to leave. Unfortunately, maybe we'll pick this up from you, Govind Prasad, offline, and maybe get this answered for you about lightweighting. Gonzalo, there's a question for you from Kinnary again. How do UV or conventional inks and coating affects the color vibrancy and finish on metal surfaces, especially for premium or matte lux looks?
Okay, varnishing is something that we cannot avoid. Let's say all the inks needs to be varnished to be protected. There are many different type of varnishes in the market, as you have mentioned: conventional, UV, gloss, matte, semi-matte. And all of them can have an effect on the color, but the effect is, I would not say it's a negative effect. Colors, when you are varnishing the colors, you are getting more glossy finish if you are not using a matte or semi-matte finish. Conventional varnishing versus UV varnishing, there is also some differences. The lay of the varnish is usually much better for conventional varnishes because of the process and the time that the varnish has to lay properly during the state, the time that is inside the oven. In opposition to when you are varnishing in UV, that there is just an instant cure, and then there is some type of what we call orange spill. Concerning matte varnishes, matte varnish is developed by adding some type of special matte pigments to the varnish. They are covering the color, reducing the chroma, the saturation, but creating a very attractive satin matte finish.
Okay. Thanks, Gonzalo. Another one for Lander here. This is from Bharat Bisht from the Huber Group. In India and the Indian subcontinent, we are facing a peculiar problem of UV inks transfer on coated stock which are older than 7 days. Now, to salvage the coated stock, we pass the sheets in 100 degrees temperature and then apply the UV inks. It transfers easily. Now, is this phenomenon noticed in Europe or other places?
Okay, I can take also this
Yes,
question.
I think it's better
Gonzalo.
for Gonzalo. Better, I think so.
Sure, Gonzalo.
I guess the question is that part of the ink that is printed on the external side of the lithography, it gets transferred to the internal side of the sheet during stacking. There are multiple variables that can create this problem, starting from the choice of good base coats that should be suitable for UV printing, because when you are printing UV inks, you need adhesion. There is no adhesion directly on metal. And there are coatings in the market that they don't have good adhesion for UV inks. So first you need to have good adhesion. Once you have adhesion, you need to ensure that the cure of the UV ink is properly done. And again, here there are multiple variables. You need to print with as low as water as possible. You need to ensure that your lamps installation it's clean, that you have the proper lamps, that you are not printing very high in ink film weight. At the end, you need to ensure that the cure of the ink is sufficient to withstand the stacking process. Set-off is something that it happens from time to time, but I would say that in general, in Europe, with all the newest installations and the good practices printing, there are very, very random occasions where set-off is happening.
Got it. That's an interesting answer, because I think there were also follow-up questions on that, but I'm going to quickly move to Karthik now. This is a question from Gurmeet Singh. Gurmeet wants to know, in plastic cup or metal cup printing, how can we avoid ink filling problems in reverse text on dry offset printing machine? This leads to frequent printing machine stoppage and requires plate cleaning. Could you advise the best solution to fix these problems?
Okay, so reverse printing, like on the application, it is much challenging. As a pioneer in ink technology, we have a specific formulated products which has been produced in some chemical Switzerland. So that will be suitable for reverse printing technology, where you can avoid all this ink spillage process.
Short
I have
and sweet.
I have left an answer also in the chat about this question.
Sorry, Gonzalo, I couldn't.
Yeah, there is an answer to this question in the chat that I have populated before.
Okay. Was this shared with all the audience? But maybe the PrintWeek team can help and, share this answer. This, Gonzalo, you shared it with only the hosts and the panelists. I'm going to ask the team to share it with,
okay. Sorry.
with everyone. No
But
problem.
I can answer here is that it's important to avoid feeling on negative text, negative printing. You need to start with the proper color matching job. For me, this is one of the key points. You need to ensure that when you are producing the color, you are not using excessive ink film weight. And for this, you need to use the proper lab printers. You need to use specific good practices when creating the color. Once you ensure that the color is achieved at a, let's say, not high in film weight, then you go to the press, and then in the press there are different variables. The most important to avoid filling usually are printing pressures. You need to have the correct printing pressures in between the former rollers and the plates, and in between the blankets and the cans. By doing this, possibly you will get rid of filling.
Thanks, Gonzalo. I think that helps. I'm going to take 2 more questions before we close the session. This is from Govind Prasad. I guess this is open to all. How are trade policies and tariffs affecting the global cost structure and competitiveness of metal packaging versus other materials? Maybe Lander, you want to take that? This is definitely not a Gonzalo question.
So the question is, sorry, how is the competitiveness between the metal packaging against others?
Based on trade policies and tariffs, is this affecting the global cost structure and competitiveness of metal packaging versus other materials?
Well, I have to say that the metal packaging is, if we are checking this from the sustainable point of view, it is quite competitive, because as we all of us know, to recycle aluminum or the steel is very easy, I will say, but we have the stone of the carbon footprint. Okay. If we compare with other industries like the plastic, okay, probably we are suffering like a kind of green washing, and the metal packaging maybe doesn't look as good as other type of packagings. But depending the product that you are manufacturing, okay, I think the selection of the packaging should be to use one material, okay, and then depending if it is food, beverage, or whatever you consider, to choose one type of packaging in terms of metal or well, other, okay. But in terms, as I said, in terms of cost also, I will say, thanks to the high recyclable level we have in the metal packaging, it is quite competitive with others industries.
Got it, Lander. But the question about trade policies and tariffs, does that have any impact on the competitiveness? Is there the tariffs affecting the metal packaging industry?
So say again, sorry, I didn't catch it.
Is there any of the trade policies and tariffs that we have been hearing in the global market, is that affecting the industry per se?
Okay, maybe our colleague Eduardo can help us on this also.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, Eduardo.
Good morning, good afternoon. I would say yes. There is a higher risk for metal packaging. Okay, plastic is a derivative of fuel. Fuel market is more controlled. Steel is used for other applications, automotive, I think there is a higher risk for metal packaging of suffering an impact of the trade war that we are now living. If you ask me about India, I don't have an answer. Okay, but globally, yes, I think it's going to jeopardize our business more than other competitor materials like Tetra Pak or PET or glass. Okay.
I like the directness of the answer, Eduardo. Thank you so much.
I think it's terrible for this forum, but I think it's reality.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a very good question, but a very tough answer.
I agree. I agree. But I think this is important, but maybe the wars are going to end sometime, maybe. Let's see. One last question here. This is from Sandeep Kumar, and he wants to know, can you please help with the drying mechanism of a two-piece can and the types of ink in use for that?
Sorry, say again.
So can you, so let me read this again. Can you help with the drying mechanism for a two-piece can and the type of ink that needs to be used for that?
Two-piece can for beer and beverage, or two-piece can for, let's say, food packaging, printed on flat and then deep drawn. It's different.
Okay.
For beer and beverage, all the inks that are the existing technology used in the whole market, it's conventional curing with polyester type of inks that are varnished during the process. It's a wet and wet varnishing. If the question is for a sheet fed application and then deep drawing to produce cans, there is a choice of conventional curing or UV curing. The main difference in between conventional inks and UV inks is that the flexibility of the UV inks, and when I'm saying flexibility, is the capacity to be stretched, because you are drawing the material once it's printed, is much lower than with conventional inks. And then not all the two-piece food cans can be printed with UV inks. Only the ones that are not deep drawn, the more easier type of food containers.
Got it. I think we very well run out of time here, but thank you so much, Gonzalo and Lander. I think the insights that we've heard today was very useful. And before I conclude, let me also share some final thoughts. The global metal packaging market size accounted for $119.3 billion in 2022 and is anticipated to reach $170.5 billion in 2030 by 2032, with a solid CAGR from 2023 to 2032. The good news for India is the market size is expected to grow. Asia Pacific and India are the fastest growing markets. The growth can be attributed to multiple factors, including the rising disposable income levels plus industrialization and the expansion of the convenience food industry. The message from today's knowledge session: think before you ink. Again, thank you for thanks to all our 200 plus delegates for joining in. Before I say goodbye from this pretty little village, not really a village, but a town with 10% of population of where I come from in Lithuania. Special thanks to Nitesh Bhatnagar at DIC India for being the Vivaldi of today's webinar, and to Nazar Mullah at Haymarket India for holding the IT fort. Two housekeeping announcements, courtesy PrintWeek's brand manager, Shamin Alexander, who has requested me to announce them. One, look out for the Women to Watch Awards winner announcement. Some wonderful winners in that list. which are a testimony to women power in our industry. And two, we request you to submit your entries for the Print Week Awards. Only 30 days to go. The 15th edition recognizes excellence in the Indian print and packaging industry. Thus far, 100 print companies and packaging converters across India have submitted their entries. As you know, the award is a great way to highlight the increasing clout of technology and the growth of print and packaging business across the length and breadth of India. Till we meet again, hopefully on the 18th of August for one more invigorating knowledge session with the HP Indigo and Reddington team. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. Over and out.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.